What is good, everybody? It is your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again. Been off for about a week now, but I got to come back because there's some spicy talk going on. We're live on YouTube, live on Facebook with Pat and the people. I'm Pat, y'all the people. How you feeling today? I got something interesting to talk about here. As always, in the first few minutes, I'm going to be uploading the content. You know what I'm saying? But, there's been talk this week. Some hot talk, some hot topics. I'm talking about the man Derrick Rose, the man we all know and love. Come on, Chicago, stand up. The man we all know and love. Derrick Rose talking about coming back home. B.J. Armstrong went on Mully and Hall from 670 to score. And he was speaking about Derrick. Like I say, as always, please don't mind me in the beginning. I'm just editing up so that people can find the video, all that good stuff. David Hall came out, or B.J. Armstrong, came out and said that if the Chicago Bulls were to speak to Derrick Rose about a return, he'd definitely be listening. He would definitely be listening. Because what he said in BJ's words, I listened to him also on Waddle and Sylvie this week. In BJ's words, what he said was, Derrick Rose, his heart is in Chicago. His heart is here. This is where, if the Chicago Bulls were to call, this is where he wants to be. Now the question is, to the people, do you want him back? That's the question. Do you want him back? I got to say I want him back, y'all. Now, this is the key thing with it. Do I want Derrick Rose back? Yes. Is it because he is from Chicago? He's Chicago through and through because I feel like he belongs here? Like this is his home? Yeah. But I do want Derrick Rose to come back to Chicago. Not because of only those reasons, but also because Derrick Rose is playing better. And listen, what do we have at the point guard position right now on the Chicago Bulls? Somebody let me know what we have at the point guard position right now on the Chicago Bulls. Not much. I like Chris Dunn. I think Chris Dunn is going to be a good player in this league for quite some time. But here's the thing. Is Chris Dunn turning the tables for us? Is Chris Dunn going to be that difference maker for us? We're live on YouTube, live on Instagram right now, or live on Facebook right now. I'm sorry. If you're in the live, give us a like. Please share the video if you're on Facebook. We appreciate you. That's what it comes down to, though. That is what it comes down to. What do we have at the point guard position? Now, I'm not saying he should come back and be instantly the focal point of the Chicago Bulls. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that. But I am saying that he has a role on this team if he were to come back. He has a role on this team if he were to come back. There's a spot for Derrick Rose on these Chicago Bulls because we need somebody who can facilitate the ball. We need somebody who can create scoring off of the dribble. Honestly, we need somebody who's a threat. And Derrick Rose shot his best from three this season. We need somebody who is a threat. That's the thing. That's the thing. If you look at the Chicago Bulls this season, they had no other threat at the point guard position. In fact, there was no threat until they chose to decide to let Zach LaVine begin to run the point. And then teams had to start worrying about something at that point guard position. But until then, there was no Chris Dunn. Teams weren't worried about a lot of these guys. Antonio Blakeney? That's what you're throwing out? Antonio Blakeney? Teams aren't worried about Antonio Blakeney. We got to put guys out there that teams fear. And Derrick Rose can't be that guy. Now, here's the thing. He can't be your main threat on offense. You can't bring him back here thinking that he's going to be the superstar Derrick Rose that he was when he arrived here. You cannot. You cannot. It won't go well for you. I'm telling you that right now. It won't go well for you. Because he doesn't have, as much as it may pain us to say, he's not the guy that he once was. He doesn't have that explosiveness. Now, has he got some of it back? Yes. Has he got enough of it back to be a threat? Yes. But is he the guy that he once was? Of course not. Of course not. Derrick Rose to the Chicago Bulls, should it happen? Yes or no? Let me know. Y'all let me know. What does he add to the Bulls, too? What does he add that can be a threat? Like I said, I think his three-point shooting is good. I think off the dribble he's gotten, I'd say 80%. Would you agree with 80%? I'm talking about his burst. Would you say Derrick Rose is 80% of what he was? I'd give Derrick 80%. I think at times he was 100% of the player we once saw. But he can't maintain that for an entire season. So here's my thing. Chicago Bulls, they're going to be drafting what? Are we saying probably second or third? I mean, we know that they could fall out of it completely, but we're hoping first. But are we thinking maybe second or third is where the Bulls could fall here in the draft? So you're going to get a point guard who's maybe R.J. Barrett or Ja Morant. And if you get a Ja Morant, listen, let that kid start. Or let Derrick start the season and slowly let Ja take over for him. You cannot have Derrick as the focal point of this team. But if he wants to come back, there is a place for him on this team. Don't doubt that. Don't doubt that. Live on Facebook, live on YouTube right now with Pat and the people. I am Pat. Y'all are the people. I appreciate y'all for joining. If you could, get a video a like if you're in here right now. If you're on the live, please share the video. We appreciate the love. Derrick Rose, agent B.J. Armstrong says if the Bulls would like for Derrick to return, Derrick would listen. And listen, I listened to the interview. It sounded to me like BJ was saying Derrick wants to come home. He was basically just like, listen, he's a Chicago kid through and through. I don't have to worry about where he's going at the end of the year. He's going to be in Chicago. He's always going to come back. He's always here with the family. He's got friends here. He knows it. So basically, BJ was just hyping up the whole thing. Basically, in my mind, he was just trying to get the conversation started. That's how it seemed to me. It seemed like BJ was just trying to get the ball rolling. Now, did he do that? Did BJ Armstrong get the ball rolling? Are the Chicago Bulls going to be in on Derrick Rose this summer? A lot of tough questions to answer, man. Picasso on the live. I see you, Brody. He says 80 is fair. I think it would be awesome if Derrick Rose finishes his career in Chicago. I agree with you, bro. I agree with you. And listen, that's the thing. We love Derrick and Derrick loves us. That's the thing with us. I appreciate you for joining, by the way. We are all the relationship with Derrick Rose is like that of a bad girlfriend, right? Or maybe not, let me not say a bad girlfriend. Maybe just a girl that like y'all just kind of realized at some point like, we need to go separate ways. And y'all needed that. Y'all needed that space. You needed that breakup, right? And the Bulls and Derrick Rose needed the breakup. They needed the space. But at the end of the day, you still love them, right? You still love them. You still want to be with that person. You still want to have a relationship with that person. It's just at the moment, that's not going to work for you. But later on down the road, it might. And right now might be that time. Right now might be the time where the Chicago Bulls can go to Derrick Rose and say, listen, we want you back. And Chicago, we did treat him poorly at the end, but it wasn't not deserved. Right? I think there were some moments there where we were a little too harsh on him. But we were all ready for Derrick Rose to go when he went. Some people were still holding on. Some people were still, I don't think Derrick Rose should leave. I think he's a part of this team. We can still win a championship with him. But it was kind of like we needed the space. We needed the trade. We needed to rebuild. Jalil Smith live on Facebook. I appreciate you, bro. Please like the video. Please share. I would like to see it. I think a lot of us would, wouldn't we? Wouldn't we love to see Derrick Rose back in the – it feel like it's where he belonged, don't it? Don't it feel like it's supposed to be? Derrick it's weird seeing him in a Minnesota jersey. No cap. No cap. It's weird seeing Derrick Rose not in a Chicago Bulls jersey. And you would think, a lot of times with players, when you first see it, that's kind of weird seeing him, not play for the team. But after a while, you just get used to it. Bro, I've never gotten used to seeing Derrick Rose not in a Chicago jersey. I've never gotten used to that. It always looks weird to me. It always looks wrong to me. He's Chicago through and through. Now, at the end of the day, you got to get him for something that is not a reckless deal. You can't be out here spending $20 million on Derrick Rose. He's not at that point in his career anymore. Can he build himself back up to that? You never know. He had a good season this year, but it was a good season. If you can get Derrick Rose for a nice mid-level contract, few million a year, 5-6 million, I'm cool with max six, maybe 8. And you sign him to a 2-year deal. You get Derrick Rose for 2 years, $16 million. Maybe a player option on the third or a team option. I'd like to see a team option. The Bulls don't do enough of those. That's not bad. That's not bad. This is a team that needs a jolt. This is a team that needs something. And I think that Derrick Rose can be a piece, not a key piece, but a piece to a Chicago team that could possibly be looking to contend for something. Think about the teams in the East. The East, honestly, you got Philly limping into the playoffs. Limping into the playoffs. You got Milwaukee, that is actually a team that you might have to have a little smoke with, Milwaukee's out here, they trying to do things big. I'm not hating on Milwaukee. I like Milwaukee. I like the team that they built. But then after that, what you rocking with? The Celtics look like they can't figure out what's going on left or right. Those are your top 3. Who are the teams that are really holding you back in the Eastern Conference if you start adding talent? Now, it starts with the draft. Don't get me wrong. It's got to start with the draft. It's got to start with getting John Morant or RJ Barrett or Zion Williamson. That's where you got to begin at. But if that's your starting point and you add Derrick Rose to the already good team you have, now you've got a veteran point guard who is Chicago through and through teaching your new point guard. Where's the problem with that? I love that. Could you imagine Derrick Rose teaching John Morant? The culture? Jaleel Smith in the live. I think we draft PG, get rid of Dunn, pick up Rose on a veteran salary. I can see with the core we have, we can be contenders again, Bulls Nation. Hey, honestly, that's not even far-fetched, bro. That's not even far-fetched. A lot of people might be looking at this and thinking, come on, y'all, Derrick Rose, really? We're going to do this again? Listen. Derrick Rose this year posted 18-plus points a game. 5-plus assists a game. 5-plus rebounds a game. You don't do that on a fluke. That's not a fluke season, y'all. That's not just, oh, he kind of had it. No, that's not a fluke season. I think he's just confident in himself again. His mind's just right. That's all it takes. Derrick always had the talent. We always saw the talent. In New York, he would still do amazing things, but you could tell his mind wasn't right. You could just tell it, right? In Minnesota, his mind seemed a little better. But I think the final piece to that puzzle is, let's get Derrick Rose back. He wants to come home. B.J. Armstrong basically was saying, Chicago called Derrick. If you listen to the interviews he had on ESPN, on Bulls Talk Podcast, on 670 The Score, he was basically saying, Gar Forman, John Paxson, call Derrick Rose. He wants to come home, call him. That's what I heard. He's talking like, oh, well, sometimes, when you're away from home, it's very different. And Derrick had to get used to things, but he always came back to Chicago. He knew this where his heart was. Come on, bro. We know what you're saying. Somebody go get Derrick Rose. Who got Derrick number? Tag Derrick in the live. Somebody tag Derrick in the live. I'll talk to Derrick. Because Derrick Rose needs to come home. No matter how you feel about him in the past, no matter how you feel. Listen, you can't bring him back as a starting piece. I've said that. You can't bring him back as a focal point of this offense. But Derrick Rose has the talent, is a good player, showed it continuously this year, showed it consistently this year. It's not like you're just going to pick him up for nostalgia. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing. You know what? The Bulls do that too. But it's not like you're just going to pick him up for nostalgia purposes. You're going to pick him up because he's a competitor, because he's good, because he can play, because his mind's right again. And if you bring him home, his mind's only going to continue to get more right, in my opinion. We're live on YouTube, live on Facebook right now. If you're on the Facebook, please like the video. Please share the video. We appreciate the love. Let your friends know that Windy City The Breeze is live and in action. I'm here. I'm Pat the Designer here with Pat and the People. I'm Pat. Y'all the people. If you haven't, please check out the YouTube page. Please subscribe to the YouTube page, Windy City The Breeze. We go live often on there, although I haven't been on in about a week. Haven't been a lot of good things to talk about with Chicago. The Sox lost again today. Cubs are terrible. Bulls are pretty bad. Hawks are out of the playoffs. Bears are still trying to find a kicker. But I heard this Derrick Rose news, and I had to hop on, man. I heard this Derrick Rose news, and I just had to hop on. I appreciate the love, too. What do y'all think, man? This is Patting the People, and I want y'all opinion on this. What do y'all think? Should the Bulls be looking to go get Derrick Rose? Yes or no? Let me know in the comments. Should the Bulls be making a Derrick Rose pitch? Here we go. Let's see. To me, D. Rose is one of the toughest players in the league. What gets me mad is a lot of Bulls fans turn Rose down because of the injuries. But the way I see it, he came back when he shouldn't have, but his heart is really what the Bulls nation really is. And don't forget, he led the league in field goal percentage. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. We appreciate the love, man. Absolutely right. You're not wrong at all. And Bulls Nation, listen, you got to understand. Let me explain to you about Bulls Nation, too. You got to understand where Bulls Nation is coming from. We're a part of something that is amazing. We have one of the best dynasties in sports history. We have one of the most iconic teams in sports history. Actually, for the city of Chicago, we have 3. Well, 4 if you include the Blackhawks. Honestly, Chicago is one of the most iconic, and so it hurts us to see teams where you see that potential and they don't meet it. And so a lot of times we hold on to what happened in those moments. You know what I'm saying? We hold on to what we saw in those moments. And we saw Derrick Rose talk about wanting to be healthy at his son's graduation and wanting to not be sitting in meetings hurting. And this is a blue-collar city. We don't think that way. I get up at 4 in the morning every day and I go to work. And then I come home and do this. We work. And there's so many Chicagoans just like this. The work don't stop. The grind don't quit. This is what we do. This is what we do. And yet, Derrick Rose came out and said he didn't want to put in that work. Essentially. And now, a lot of people have said that's not what he meant. That's not what he was speaking on. But essentially, he basically said, I've been working and I'm not ready to come back. I don't want to be hurt. How many of us get up and go to work every day sore? How many of us get up and go to work every day in a little bit of pain? Oh, I rolled my ankle yesterday. Got to go. I blew my knee out yesterday. Got to go. We get up. We are blue collar through and through. And so when we hear comments like Derrick Rose made while he was still a Chicago Bull, it kind of spurned a lot of people. And let me tell you something. Somebody who works a construction job, a lot of them don't like Derrick Rose. And it's for that reason. They think he quit on the Chicago Bulls. They think that he gave up on the Chicago Bulls. Do I think that's the case? No, not at all. But I think that a lot of people were hurt by the comments that Derrick Rose made. But I think that was a young kid, not really knowing what to say in the moment, not really knowing what he should be doing in the moment, just trying to figure out mentally how to get his body healthy and to trust it. And I don't hold those moments against Derrick. Those are all learning moments. Those are all learning moments. Those are moments you have to have as an NBA player. Those are learning moments. And those are moments that he can never forget. And Chicago will never forget them. But at the same time, we have to move past them. At the same time, we have to do our best to see the person that Derrick is now. And listen, he's a heck of a player. Like Jaleel said, led the league in field goal percentage. He's a heck of a player. I'm gonna have to check on that stat. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I'm gonna have to check on that stat. Somebody let me know. Did Derrick Rose lead the league in field goal percentage? Let me know. But honestly, man, the Chicago Bulls adding Derrick Rose, it would help tremendously. It would help tremendously. And I say that for this reason. Like I said before, he's teaching a point guard, but at the same time, you got a threat coming off the bench. He could be your sixth man. You got a guy coming off the bench that people have to game plan for. People have to worry about. Now, of course, if you get him, he's starting the season as the starter probably because you're more than likely going to end up with a point guard. You're more than likely going to end up with a guy who needs to learn, needs to speed up to that game. But what he brings now, have you guys watched any of the new Derrick with the vocal? I'm talking vocal Derrick. Teaching the guys on the floor, yelling at the guys on the floor, keeping guys accountable. Hey, get in your position, set the screen, let's go. He's communicating. This Derrick, this grown Derrick, this veteran Derrick can help this team right now. A guy, first off, a guy who's been there, who's almost tasted what the finals is like, who's gone up head-to-head against the best player to ever do it and held his own. That's what you're bringing to Chicago. That's what you get back. You're not getting back the broken player. Yeah, he had injuries this year. Every player has injuries. I love how we talk about injuries. And yes, he had major injuries, but listen, he's come back from them. And yes, he still gets hurt, but every player gets hurt. How many times was Larry Markkinen out due to injury this year? How many times did Russell Westbrook sit out due to injury this year? And it's not just major injury. Listen, these guys are sitting these young guys because they don't want them to get hurt. They're sitting them for long spurts of time. Russell Westbrook probably sat out. I couldn't even tell you. It's probably not a huge number, but I'd say over 10. I'd say he probably sat out over 10 games this year due to rest, due to an actual injury. Now, in the grand scheme of things, you might not say that's a lot, but listen, Derrick played 54 games this season and went out late in the year. But it's an injury he could have come back from. It's bone spurs. Tim Duncan had bone spurs. Guys, like, we talk about Derrick like, I don't know. It cracks me up. It cracks me up how we talk about Derrick. We talk about Derrick like he didn't give us some of the greatest moments of our life. Like he didn't give us moments that we will remember forever. Derrick Rose was amazing in the Chicago Bulls uniform, and I'd be honored to have him back on our team. Let me know in the comments below what y'all think, man. Let me know how y'all feel about Derrick Rose returning to the Chicago Bulls. Should the Bulls be out there to go get Derrick? Should they be calling Derrick right now? Derrick Rose's agent, B.J. Armstrong, said that Derrick would love to come back if the call would be made. Of course, there'd be business things in there, but I think we could get Derrick for a pretty low price. But let me know. Should the Bulls be after Derrick Rose? I'm going to get up out of here, man. I appreciate the love. Make sure y'all check out Windy City The Breeze. We usually record that on Wednesdays, usually up by Thursday. Make sure y'all check out the 100 Airs podcast featuring me and AD. Shout out to my boy Ringo J, by the way. Make sure y'all check him out on the Twitch at StephBackJ. I think that's it. I'm going to have to text him. We got all the links below. Make sure y'all check out the Pretty Planners podcast produced by me. That's featuring Chloe and Deanna. If you're a planner, they bringing you some fire on the podcast game. I'm not even a planner, but I'll be rocking with it. We appreciate the love, man. I appreciate all the support. Please like the video. Please share the video. And if you have not done so, please subscribe to the page. Hit that bell. We're trying to grow this so much. We can see the podcast growing, but we also want to grow the YouTube simultaneously. I'm going to get up out of here, man. It is your boy, Pat the Designer.